When we first saw the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon announcement trailer, no one had any idea what to think. We were in a bright new Alola region just being bombarded with random just gameplay features and little clips of what's going on, and suddenly 2 new legendary forms appeared. It's definitely Necrozma, but it's also definitely Solgaleo and Lunala. Was that fusion? Okay. Silence. That was it. That was all we had to think about for however long it took until the next Pokemon announcement. What did this all mean for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? And unfortunately, a lot of people came from that trailer saying, that's it? And that is one of the things you can take away from it, that we only had like 20 seconds for a late game announcement, because all the other games that have been announced for an enhanced version were around May, but this was in June. So we had to wait a little extra longer. People were already not really sitting well on Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then there was that. However, once we started getting more information, also with the very little information we had, naturally people were starting to speculate. Theories were coming everywhere, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. What did we get wrong as the trailers and as all the information about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon developed? Was anyone right about anything? Like, I think that's actually really interesting to look at, because the news cycle for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was so limited that I feel that we almost had no idea what the games were, and we were very, very wrong almost the entire time. So I'm going to start off with my first wild call. When I saw that, I was like, wait a second. Lycanroc jumping up into the sun probably has something very special to it. You know, I was like, wait, is this a new Lycanroc form? Is this Ultra Lycanroc? Is that why we have Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon? Is there going to be like an Ultra power to Pokemon? Like, that's why I thought about the Z-Ring as well. It's like, wait a second. This is a very special Z-Ring. Is this like Z power that gives you like an Ultra boost or something? And that's kind of what I was going on. This is not just midday Lycanroc. This is an Ultra Lycanroc. It's a new form. It's an enhanced version. And I'm not going to take credit saying I was really right on this one, because I was more thinking an enhanced Lycanroc midday or midnight. We just straight up got a new evolution for Rockruff that isn't kind of like an alternate form of midday or midnight Lycanroc. It's a separate Pokemon in that Dusk Lycanroc, but I kind of called it because I was watching the build up for the anime. So as we got close to the reveal, I was able to predict that one, but that was kind of it. As for initial impressions, I had no idea, and I'm going to say I was more wrong than I was right. But then our minds were blown with the Dusk Lycanroc reveal, because wait a second, that's a Z move. Now, we all knew about Z moves from the Clangorous Soul Blaze reveal that we had at Pokemon Worlds. It's like, alright, we gotta come out with Z move, but I think that's another thing that led us down the wrong path. That because of this, I was expecting, you know, maybe 10 new exclusive Z moves. The Z Crystal and trailer looks pretty crazy. It looks like there's a lot of work going in these new Z moves, and it turns out we didn't really get many new Z moves. Like, alright, cool, we got Lycanroc, we got Komodo, we ended up with the Mimikyu, and then the rest were just legendary Pokemon Z moves. So it's like, oh, it didn't really expand as much as we thought with the Z moves. But back to the Dusk Lycanroc. Let's go and take this back to the first trailer, because wait a second, there's 2 clips that play right before we see this for Midday Lycanroc, which turned out to be a Z move. So then everyone was like, wait a second, is this Z move? Does that mean we get Togedemaru Z move? Does that mean we get Mimikyu Z move? And then people started coming in and doubting. They're like, no, it's just going to be Totem Pokemon. I don't think we're going to get a Mimikyu or Togedemaru Z move. And then the fake Mimikyu form ended up coming out, and people were like, yeah, it's totally going to be like a Mimikyu Z move that either resets the skies or gives Mimikyu a new form transformation mid-battle. And then that turned out being completely false, and it actually ended up being both. So Game Freak played us like a dang fiddle when it came to this, because wait a second, we have the Lycanroc, that means Mimikyu, that means Togedemaru, and that just turned out being both. It was both. Everyone was half right. It was Totem Togedemaru and then new Z move for the Mimikyu. Interesting. That was just weird, so we have to take that in consideration with the next Pokemon game, and whatever weird announcements Game Freak might drop on us, because they seem to kind of skew expectations pretty hard. Now, with the new Necrozma forms, again, it was all over the place. Like, the first reaction from the trailer, like, what you take away is, you know, it's the last little scene, it's like, oh, there's fusion in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Is this could be like Black and White too? And then we were like, nah, that's kind of stupid. Why would they do that? They're just repeating the same thing we've already seen in a Pokemon game. Fusion doesn't really make that much sense in Pokemon anyways. It just didn't seem like a good idea. It seemed like they were out of ideas if they were resorting to fusion. So that's kind of stupid. And then, wait a second. it's a Solgaleo form, right? You know, that we're not going to have Necrozma possessing Solgaleo. We're going to have Solgaleo and Lunala. They're going to take on traits of Necrozma to become stronger, and that's where a lot of people start going to Prism Armor. Like, wait a second, what if Necrozma's Prism Armor, that's what it is, you know, Necrozma's actually able to, like, fuse with Pokemon, give it Prism Armor, and then that Pokemon's going to be able to get extra abilities or extra stats or something crazy off of that, and then, no, we all turned out being wrong. It was just fusion anyways, and not even, like, Solgaleo form, it's Necrozma taking over the Pokemon, so I don't even think a lot of people expected that. I didn't see too many people, if any, saying that's a Necrozma form, because it's an obvious Solgaleo and Lunala form, just from the information that we had at the time. So that got pretty messy. And now it's time to talk about the people, the doubters, that were wrong. You know, so many people saying Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon gonna be trash games, just Pokemon Sun and Moon all over game, and Pokemon Sun and Moon were bad anyways, and Game Freak isn't giving us any trailers because there's absolutely nothing to show because the games are gonna be so garbage. Well, all those doubters, they just kept getting proven more and more wrong because we had new Ultra Beasts. So anyone that thought that Ultra Beasts themselves were just impossible to have more, they were wrong. New Pokemon, that's already more than what we've had with any enhanced version, so that proved people wrong. Also, Ultra Beasts can evolve. So we had Poipole, another new Ultra Beast, evolve into Naganadel, which is going to be an evolution of an Ultra Beast, which is more Pokemon on top of new Pokemon. I actually saw some people predict that, because Poipole looked a little too small. It looked a little too out of place. So its evolution was predicted by a lot of people, but just its existence is kind of something that we didn't really expect. And also, a new mythical Pokemon exists inside of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon as well. So pretty much everything got shattered right there for the non-believers. Next thing I want to talk about was Mantine Surf. I kind of predicted that Mantine Surf was going to be for move tutors because I looked at the little beach huts and they reminded me of what we saw in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Oh, we have move tutor cabanas on the beach. Cool. I'm saying that's where we get our move tutors, and then it turned out being that Mantine Surf was where that location was, and then you actually earn beach points that turn into battle points somehow, and we get our move tutors without battling, so pretty solid right there. I don't know how many people could have seen such a crazy feature with such a crazy interaction coming. I even saw some people doubt that there were even going to be move tutors in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but everything came back and it worked out for everyone. Now it's time for, like, the Ultra Space and the Ultra Weirdness that ended up happening with Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. A lot of people are like, oh, Ultra Recon Squad, obvious villains, obvious villains. I mean, look at the way they dress. They're attacking us, they're coming out of the wormhole, they look all ominous, they're all shaded, they're in like a crazy, distorted Ultra villains. Villains, you know, that's what people said. It's like, no, they're not villains. They actually turned out to be very quirky friends. I really enjoyed it whenever the Ultra Recon Squad showed up because they had their strange interpretation of our world and then just giving you like little tastes, you know, almost these delicious drops of the story. It's like, ooh, I can't wait to see where this goes because we know things are going down. And then they kind of fill in that story a bit more. So that was pretty exciting whenever they showed up. However, the Ultra Megalopolis was nothing. I was hoping to see new citizens, you know, like this being a fully functioning city that has some kind of crazy interaction that you can have with it, not just a hallway. So that honestly disappointed me quite a bit because I was like, oh, I want to see shops, I want to see new people, I want to interact this world as though it is the Alola region, and we didn't get that, unfortunately. And then we have Stack Attacka, and man, this one got me because I was hoping, I was convinced that this was like the Ultra Shuckle. You know, some of the most absurd defensive stats, but higher hit points, and just a pure tanky wall of tanky wallness to tank a wall like a wall is never tanked. And we didn't even get it, guys. We ended up with like some kind of awkward attacker, and the biggest disappointment is that it's a steel rock typing, so 2 4x weaknesses. It's actually turned out to be pretty powerful. Like, I'm not saying that it was the most disappointing Pokemon ever, and that's what got everyone. I was just expecting a lot more tankiness and hopefully a better typing, and we ended up not getting it. So, Stack Attacka ended up being like this weird thing that no one could really predict fully for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And then we got the Alola forms, guys. RIP Alola forms. Everyone wanted. There is no reason. There is no reason for there to not be new Alola forms in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Honestly, I think that would have like saved the game. And I don't understand why Game Freak didn't do it. Because we're in an alternate timeline. We have a different story going on. We have new Pokemon. There's 100 new Pokemon in the Alola Pokedex. How is it that these new Pokemon that haven't been exposed to the Alola region for multiple generations don't come in and then adapt and then change. We even had new Pokemon from the Kanto region come in, so even if it was only first generation exclusive once again, they could have kept it changing or expanded to other generations where we have this new Pokemon. No excuse for not having a Alolan Dunsparce. No excuse for not having like a Alolan Zoroark or Zorua. It's an alternate timeline, you have a new region to play with, new Pokemon, and Game Freak didn't let it happen. Dang, that tilts me though. That's like the one thing, it's like looking back, it's like, okay, I will say Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon were incredible enhancements on Pokemon Sun and Moon. They really gave us the experience we wanted and more from the original Sun and Moon launch. So I'm very happy with the games, but the problem is there were some missed opportunities. Just kind of sting a little bit. As for the Ultra Warp Ride, again, this was one of those things where I just kept getting proven wrong and wrong and wrong, much like with the Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma forms. I was thinking, oh, it's only going to be Ultra Beast, that each one of those wormholes is going to be a separate Ultra Beast world. So green would say represent Kartana and Celesteela. Yellow would be Xurkitree. The white one, we already saw white one. They go into the white one in the trailer, and then that has Nihilego in it. So I was like, okay, white's Nihilego. They're all color-coded. You get to choose the Ultra Beast, and maybe you do it like once a day. So that way you can fly through, do your little mini game, grab the one Ultra Beast you want per day, done. And then we got a teaser for a legendary Pokemon that it came out through like an interview where it's like, oh, maybe legendary. I think like in the interview it's like, oh, you might be able to catch Pokemon like Mewtwo in it. So I was like, oh, is it all legendary Pokemon? Because that'd be weird. I could understand just Mewtwo. I could understand just the box arts, but not all of the legendary Pokemon returning. And then that got proven wrong in the next trailer. But then there's no way there's going to be like regular Pokemon. This seems like a super special. You only get to do it once per day. You don't get to spam it or repeat it too often. And then whenever you meet the requirements, that's how you get legendary Pokemon and Ultra Beasts. And then it turned out that there's regular Pokemon and some of the most insane shiny hunting we have seen in all of Pokemon. So that was pleasantly surprising. I was actually excited to see that it was so fun. I didn't feel like I was just grinding it, and it didn't feel annoying. That's what I like about Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Mantine Surf, Ultra Warp Ride, you can do those all day long. You can do those for hours and not get bored with them, and there's good rewards at the end of it. So that made me pretty excited that, like, it was very rewarding. So that threw all of my expectations out the window. And also, Shiny Lock, I kind of called it. I was really hoping for. I'm like, once again, Game Freak, you should not have been able to drop the ball here. Fortunately, they didn't. It's like, yeah, there's no excuse to keep the Ultra Beast shiny locked, especially with alternative methods. You make them re-encounterable, you remove the shiny lock, and you got a solid game. So that's something that we have right there. And then the last thing, what about Necrozma's crazy light secret blindingness? Actually, it got out of mind. So, interestingly enough, one of the crazy things that people could have had, like one of the wildest, most inaccurate, possibly wrong speculations on, we already knew about it before the official news drop, so I'm not even going to like count it for things that people got wrong in the video, because everyone already knew what was going on. So if you guys enjoyed the video, that is everything we got wrong about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and just the breakdown of the crazy news cycle that we had, the crazy interpretations of what these games could be, how they exceeded our expectations, how sometimes they did fall short, but overall, still pretty solid games. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.